Okay, welcome. I want to say this is almost V 1.0 now. Uh, Coming out of beta, but we're getting there. Okay, so if you go to your account settings, now I've got an admin dashboard you guys don't have. You're going to go to account settings. You're going to go to advanced, and you're going to see that I have loaded all of your branded or in-house call links if I have your domain. If I don't, that's all I'm waiting on. Okay. Because the funnels and all of the calendar, everything else has been loaded. Okay. So this yours are going to look different than mine. This is some very specific stuff to the master account. But and then of course these links will be on your personal pages, in-house or branded, to download the app so that once somebody downloads a free app, it's associated with you. Okay, so without further ado, move you guys over here so I can pretend like I'm looking at you. And welcome to, I am now loaded in a C-Suite Executive Advisor instance. It's also my super admin account, so you see a couple more things. If you are logged in, I want you to refresh your screen or log out, refresh, and log back in is probably ideal because we were pushing some updates even just an hour ago. So if you want to do that, that'd be great, just to make sure. Okay, now Launchpad. Of course, if you are a C-suite advisor, you also have every capability to self-coach yourself, to use all the tools yourself, to use them in your business. So you kind of get the best of all worlds. You get to see what your client sees, and you get to see um, what you as the executive management does. I'm also going to, in a little while, log in to a test client account so you can really see exactly what they are seeing when after you do all your fun bells and whistles. Okay, so this works the same. This works the same. We've got some things that we could do here. You can create a new scenario. You can add a new task. You can view your journey map, which will take you straight over here. Your scenarios are working the same. It is a very, very complicated algorithm. So as my testers, I need you guys to make sure that there's no unexpected behavior in here. We've tested it several times, and every once in a while we did a change to the database, and the code would, I don't know, it would think it had to do something to the calculator, and it didn't. So we had to roll it back and make sure that it didn't. So we think we have this part incredibly stable right now, but always let me know. This is the key. The reason I want you to let me know, like, wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning if the calculator isn't working, because this is key to our system. It's key to what helps us sell ourselves, is this calculator and its ability to compound and its ability to show small incremental changes. Now, when the client looks at you in disbelief and says, this can't possibly be right, all I want you to do is reset all levers. Come on, reset all levers to 0. Okay, there's one bug. Oh, I know why, because I've got this one locked and saved. I want you to go to a basic calculator, move everything back to 0, recalculate projections. That reset should have worked though. And I want you to show them 1 or 2 at a time why the algorithms are not only there, but they're actually on the conservative side. Okay. So a good way to do this is if every time you cut a cost, that goes straight to your bottom line. And it reduces your overall percentage of your cost of goods. Same way when you cut operating expenses. It not only cuts the dollar amount, but it reduces your percentage. But let's say you're going to do something like cross-selling and upselling. Let's do that one by 5%. Notice something. It also increases your cost, not just decreases your cost. The reason being is that, yes, it can increase your revenue by the 5%, but because cross-selling and upselling, it also increases proportionally your cost of goods sold. If your cost of goods is at 30%, then it's going to stay at 30% and the dollar amount increases. It is also taking into consideration what a yearly average of maybe changing some printing, doing some more advertising, changing a sign, some admin costs to, training your team, to your cross-selling and upselling by a percentage of your operating expenses. What this tool actually does is, I want you to see something. I'm going to do this. I like 5% because it's just really easy to do the math in your head to make sure it's working. It's actually compounding. So it's taking one over the other. That's why the power of, but it's not completely compounding. It's taking into several algorithmic factors to make sure that it is doable, so that and this is a really good way to demonstrate to your clients that they don't have to. Anybody ever seen the movie Moneyball? What did he pay him for? Come on, you guys. If you Moneyball, Paul, what did the guy get paid for? Grand slams, home runs,
base hits,
on base, right?
base hits.
Because if you're always trying to hit the home run, you're going to strike out more than you hit. So this is, I'm more of a football fan, but it's the same principle. Like, what you're trying to do is get a first down, because 10 first downs equal a goal. Okay. But if you're always doing a Hail Mary, you're also going to have an incredible amount of interceptions. So this is what we're training our clients to do. Small incremental changes across multiple areas. Okay. So advanced calculator, we fixed the part. No, look what that did. Okay. We fixed this. Remember how you always had to go back? Now your basic calculator, you do have to go back if there's more than one. So you can ask it which one you want to load. But once you save something as final, it goes straight there. It doesn't go back to the scenarios and then back. So we fixed that. Okay.
Lisa, question.
Yes.
On this specific example that you're showing on the operating expenses, that's actually taken it to negative. I just want to make sure that's correct.
On operating expenses, yes.
If you look at the projected P&L on the right.
Right. Projected P&L on the right, yes, because we paired cross-selling with cutting our operating expenses.
Right. Okay.
So that's the difference. Notice it's a $1,500 difference. When we didn't have this, and we did our operating, we cut it 3%, but now we've added this, and it actually increases it proportionally. You see that? You see that move?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
Always a good catch. Those are the things I want you to tell me, and either I'll explain why it does that, or I'll have to go back and look at the calculator again. Okay. So
let me ask you again. Okay. I, I withdraw it. I got it. I see it.
All right.
Thanks.
Question, Lisa, on this part,
Right.
just because of the math portion, my deficit in math. If somebody is a math guru like you, Lisa, and they want to see the back end math of this, is there a way to show them?
The actual algorithms, Shay, are proprietary. It's our secret sauce.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. If they
Best
want
way to
to
show them the math is do one lever at a time if they're a math. Okay.
make sense. Okay.
Because even on the compounding difference, it doesn't completely compound because that's unrealistic. So we only have it, we take into consideration that they're not going to do everything day one. The compounding, if we compounded everything on top of one another, which is what other calculators have done, which is why it aggravated me. And you'd get these astronomical numbers that made no sense in real life. These also don't make sense unless you really look at what it's doing. It's not a day one calculation. And that's why we also, listening to you guys, and I'm just going to tease this a bit, is that we have the ability to reset so that now it compounds. Once you reset and you start doing one on top of the other and you do them in order, you are likely now going to get better numbers than you did here because the compounding takes into it starts at factor 1, but over the course of the year, you're actually going to compound so that if you're raising revenue because you've done a price increase by 5%, now you're compounding your average transaction value on let's say it's 525. It went from 500 to 525. You're going to compound your average transaction value if you do it in the right order and you let them know you're on the 525, not on the 500. So this is also about under promising and over delivering to your clients. And so this is the teaser, and now you get to work your magic.
Lisa? Where I was getting confused on operating expenses is the fact that it shows a negative number, which is you're taking that away from your gross margin. But there are some people who will look at that and say, oh, it's a negative number. It should be adding it to the gross margin. So I don't know if you want to put in parentheses under operating expenses something like deducted from GM.
We could. So this is the dollar amount, not the margin.
Right. No. I understand.
Margin. Okay.
No. I understand that. I'm just saying that it's gross margin less operating expenses is your net profit.
Correct.
I understand that. All I'm saying is that some people will look at a negative number of expenses and think that is a positive to gross margin.
Okay.
It's a managerial versus financial accounting difference.
Right. I definitely hear you. If we were in a double entry system and I had 2 columns here, but what we are trying to do here is for the average business owner, 572 minus 378 equals 204. If you have a really accounting brain and it's used to seeing 2 columns here and the correct numbers, but this is a highly simplified projected P&L.
Okay. All good.
You use QuickBooks?
Yeah.
Most people do. This is how QuickBooks, if you just print out the P&L in an Excel sheet, this is what people are, and I know it drives real accountants crazy because it doesn't show the double column, right?
Yeah.
But this is what they're going to see, and 80% of your people are going to be on QuickBooks right now.
Yep.
And I hear you. I would much rather have a very neat and clean double columned P&L and a balance sheet that does the same thing. But this is a tool, and this is also very important because you are not CPAs, although one of you might be. This is also very important. This is presented as a tool for a reason. This is a tool to help you manage their business, increase their profits, etc. This is not a financial statement. Always be very clear about that. Okay? It's a feature, not a bug. Old Microsoft 3.1 days. Yeah, Paul and I are old enough to remember that.
Yeah.
Or designed as intended use, right?
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Everybody remember WYSIWYG?
WYSIWYG. I still use that sometimes. I have to now remember it's to tell my coders it's rich text formatting.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course this takes your advanced. Now, we've added a feature for you guys. Manage assessments. Come on, work. Ta-da! Look what I can do. Only you can clear all the assessments and have them start over again. You can trash several of them. So let's say, okay, great, I've got you. So how I recommend you doing it as a consultant is the first thing you want to do is go ahead and give them, ask them to do their top line, answer all of it, okay? Because what you want is their baseline. What they think of themselves and how they want to put their best foot forward to you, or their worst foot. You're going to get a lot of ideas about the psychology of who you're working with if you go ahead and have them fill it all out. Then, after they do that, you're going to export the entire assessment so that you have a record of the baseline. Then you can go back in as an advisor, logged in as them or for yourself, and guess what? You can trash and have them start all over again and reset their entire journey map. You can also have them go back in now, even if they're turned green. They can reconfigure the lever. And it was only letting you, it puts you into the final one, but now you can go back and re-answer all questions if you want to make any adjustments. And there you go. So you can start them at baseline now and only have them work on one or two things or three things. We recommend kind of mapping out at least 3 to 4 things in their first contract because you want them to be at least 6 months long. If you only have 3 things in let's say 12 to 18 weeks, and you do a good job, and they have no carrot to do the next one, then it might be too short. Another way to do this is you can always go back, open up another one, do another one, okay? One of the features we are going to add, but not yet, is actually the ability to go ahead and hide these. But it was a rub because then we couldn't get all of the full answers. So we've done is we've managed assessments. You can reset them and just have them do 1 or 2. This one is, they're doing, we've done 5. And so when you refresh, Logan, I'm just waiting for something to break. I'm waiting for me to click on something in production here and it not work, okay? Now view the completed journey map, and it's all right there. Okay, and as you know, now you can print your milestone. I'm not going to do that right now. And you can Go straight to your progress tracker. A couple of things that we fixed is progress tracker was breaking the frame. And so we fixed that so that the navigation stays here. A couple of things, your reports are meant to break. Some of the reports have to break the frame, but then you can go back and it goes right back in. By frame, I mean the side menu. And that's because the reports won't format as effectively unless they're on a standalone page. Some of them won't. Okay, so now we have also implemented, by popular demand, if you were to log in as, so let's just go ahead and do that. Well, no, we will do that in a second. We've got the ability to hide. Notice I've logged in, I have these hidden now. And that's because I've logged in as, and I've hid those in my assessments. So you have the ability to, and that now they're actually hidden by default. So all your tasks go here. Referrals, contacts, we've already gone over. Calendars, we've added some notice this is full because now we can actually, when you go to your journey map and you have calendar view, you can now add this to your calendar and it puts it in that week, and they can block out that week so they can actually see on a calendar, not just the calendar view, what they're going to be working on. Okay, now, this is what I want to show you. We've also done a better job of this. Client management. Okay, we're going to log in to this person. This is how I want to show you on the progress tracker. It defaults to hidden or viewable. Once it's viewable, you have to click this one to make it viewable for them. But even at that level, notice that all of them are hidden. So they're hidden individually by default now. Instead of having to go back in and hide a bunch of them, you can just unhide them. And now that is the only thing that will appear for them. Same way with advanced implementation strategies. And it's drilled down by categories. You can add it as a task to their strategies. And once you add it as a task, you can hide the advanced implementation strategies again for them. Now those have gone to the task manager, and they don't have to worry about asking you about what all this other stuff is. Now, even when I hide this, if I hide this, everything goes away. So once you have unhidden some of these, you want to unhide that, but the rest is going to be hidden. And then advanced implementation strategies, you want to keep that hidden because the thing you want to do here is add it to a task on your implementation strategies. Now you can print the Lever workbook, view the timeline, manage the task. And this is very, very important now. You want to mark this as in progress. I'm going to show you why, okay? Because only your in progress items are considered active and available to be put into sessions. So after you've just logged in as the client and determined what inside their system you want them to see and not see, you're going to go back to your account. And now I have everything I need to create a session. So this session was created. I'll show you. A session is created. It's a date. It's a consulting time and date. These can be online or offline. So you can create an offline session for your client so that they can create offline sessions for them, create the ability to like on-site, like if you're going to do 3 days on-site and you're going to mark all 3 days, the ability to do that. So you're going to be on-site for those 3 days, and this is what you're going to work on-site. You have the ability to put your agenda, assignments, communications. Every time you put in a new communication, it updates it. Any forms you want them to have, and what strategy you're going to be working on. So how you do that is I'm going to create a new session. I'm going to select my client. I'm going to tell them I'm going to do an cutting costs. And we're going to do this tomorrow at 2:00 p.m. The location is going to be on Zoom. You can put a Zoom link here. The type can be an online session. Notice you have online, in-person, offline, and other. You may find a kind of a session that I don't know about yet, all right? And so I wanted you to be able to have that capability, all right? You're going to mark your agenda. Now, this is rich text formatting, so I could say, here is our agenda. I can't spell today. Point 1, point 2. Notice I can bullet these. I can bold them. I could put in a link. So if I wanted to put in a YouTube link or something like that, I just would, I could put in a link here to a website that you want them to review. If there's a particular website or something like that you want them to review. Now you're going to put in your forms. And by the way, yes, custom forms. We're going to have global forms, but you can create your own forms for your own clients, your own assessments. I told you, Monday I wrote down, I listened to the call, I wrote down everything, and like, okay, you want your own assessments, you want your own forms, you want your own intakes, and we're going to have some global stuff that you can, use if you want, okay? So I would say I'm going to do the intake form, and let's say I'm going to do I have another form that maybe analyzes their current cost of goods, okay? Now here I can give them assignments and communication. And I always consider this kind of the ongoing communication for that session, right? And I'm going to say, go through credit cards to find hidden charges. And I might tell them to go watch a video. I might tell them, you might have seen if you logged in earlier, and if you're logged in as me, you saw this Business Mastery Institute. You could put a link and assign them a video to watch, a lesson from the upcoming Business Mastery Institute, which is our courses, modules. Now you're going to create the session. Okay. But the magic really comes in after you've created the base session. Notice it took just a minute, because what it was doing in the background, it was associating the client, and it was pulling their data, and it was associating all of that data, because the real magic comes in when you go back in and you edit this session. You can still change all of this, change your minutes, scheduled it, because you'll want to say scheduled, rescheduled, or you'll want to mark it completed. Your agenda, you can add more assignments, you can add forms, but here you can also now assign Vault, because our Vault is now live, and our Vault is 3 layers. It has global, which we're going to be loading all kinds of templates, and over the next week to to forever. Okay. My goal is to have more stuff in there every week, all categorized, HR forms, policy forms, just things, assets you can give your clients, right? Global forms. So that's the global layer. The next layer is specific resources that only belong to you, that you share with your clients. And then the third layer is they have a personal vault, so they can keep records and PDFs. Your client has a personal vault, and they can share something with you, and it lands in your My Client vault. I'm keeping the coffee companies in business this week. That's all I have to say. Okay.
Lisa,
Yes.
can you go back to recent sessions, please?
Sure. Let me finish this
Oh,
out.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. And then the last one, remember I said it was important to mark it as in progress? Now you can associate a strategy. I marked cutting cost in strategy. It now appears here. And we update the session. Now your client has a slightly different view. But as you prepare for tomorrow at 2:00 with the second test referral client, need to think of more creative names than that, and you want to view the details of that, you can now be prepared with everything in one place, this screen open, their screen is open, you know what assignments you've given them, you know what forms. Look, if they filled it out, so this one, they've already filled out the client intake form from a previous session. I can view their responses right here. So those custom forms, Logan, custom assessments and custom forms. Who was it, Logan or Shay that was wanting? I forget which one of you. Shay. Okay. So Shay, yeah, all those custom assessments and forms, you can actually not just hunt for the client submission, but have that submission right and ready available to you within the session. You stay on a page, you stay concentrated, everything is right here. You can also go in and take notes, create notes. There, I don't like how that looks. Hang on, I'm going to take a screenshot of that because that didn't look like that in production. Hang on. That looks wonky. I'll fix that tonight. And that's just a CSS thing because this is taking up way too much space. So so this has everything in one place. And in production, this doesn't look like this. This has everything that, like, it's all squinched up. So I don't know why this went like that. But the other thing is that you can add your private notes now, because you're not going to want to share private notes about the session with your client. Okay, so you add a note, private note. Client issues, whatever you want to say that you want to keep a note of, but you don't want to share with the client. Okay, add the note. I know oh, okay. I need to ran into my first bug. I think I know what it is. I think this is associated to the client private note instead of the other one. Okay, because the client can also add their private notes that you can't see, because it needs to be that way. So that they might have note taking, something that they want to do, but they're going to be able to communicate. How do you update your communications? I'm going to show you in just a minute. We've added. Now we have added custom strategies. I see why this the CSS I did this morning. I needed to add a third layer of scrolling. Custom strategies. You can create a template of custom strategies, and it follows the same look and feel as the other one. So you might want to do digital marketing implementation. You can also copy it and edit it. It has the same look and feel because you guys, there's 16 levers plus an other. But I promise you, brilliant brains have more to offer than 16 areas. So you create your own area, your own description, your own category, whether it's growth strategy, operations, marketing, or sales, how difficult this might be to implement, what your own expected outcomes are, and what your own expected time frame is. And after you create the template, you can assign it to your clients. Deploy. And now you've got your client list right here. And when you deploy it, it goes to the journey map and their progress tracker. Right under, you can reorder it again with those assessments. And usually if you're doing a custom one, if you're deploying something to them, it will go, I think we have it defaulted now to working. So if you're currently working on one, it's going to go right under there. So it's not going to interrupt the one you're working on, but it should go number 2. So if you're already on number 1, it should go number 2 and move everything else down if you're doing a custom strategy. And then you can always, rearrange things in your journey map for them. So now we have custom templates. You can even add, if you update the template, you can add, there's subcategories. When you're creating the template, you can add once the base template is created, you can add a subcategory. You can add custom content. You can choose which subcategory it might go under. You can add the question. So this should look very familiar to you if you've been playing around with the progress tracker. You can add it as an assessment question for that lever or strategy or template or an implementation strategy. And I've made it more in depth here. Why? Because you guys have big old brains. You're Bobs. And so I know that you're going to have a lot more than a simple question or a simple answer or a simple task. And so I've given you those. Notice they're optional. You don't have to put it in there, but you'll have a lot of space to do it. The upgrade coming is that these here will be rich text. And so you can put links and things like that in there. Okay.
Hey, Lisa, can we go back to the recent sessions?
Sure.
If you notice here, you've got a digital marketing consultation at 5 p.m., but you've got cutting costs at 2 p.m. same day. I think that would probably be better if that was sorted by time. And date.
I love my detail people. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So sorted by time and date.
Yeah. Both the client and we see that, correct?
Now I'm going to show you the client view in just a moment. They won't.
Okay.
You might have multiple clients in here, so they're not going to see all your.
Yeah. No, I understand. I'm just for the client. If we have 2 sessions in one day, you want to have the early session before the late show.
Absolutely. But it's also in their calendar, so it should populate in their calendar as well. But yes, let's go ahead and sort that. We can make a sort on that. I'm writing all this down as they come. Okay, so custom strategies we went over. You can deploy it. You can update the template. If you like it and you want to clone it and then update it, that's good too. You can fully edit it, everything about it. So if you clone it and edit it, you got it. You've got a framework you like, but you want to clone it and edit it, that's fine. You can create a whole one from scratch. So those are your custom strategies that go into your progress tracker. Forms. You can create a form with the title, the description, the client instructions. You can edit the form. Once you create it, you'll be able to edit it. Add sections. So you can add a new section. You can do a short text and a long text and a multiple choice and an email. You can put your question here. Question. You can say whether it's required or not. Scribe for a long text. It's going to remind you what you put in here. Okay. Your choice. And we've got yes or no and true and false. I need to put this email. So option 1, option 2. You can add an option. You can trash an option. You can also put true or false. Your email. Once you've updated it, you can save the form. You can go back to forms and you can assign the form. You can assign it to your client in general, and then add an email. I would always recommend you assign forms within sessions. It's just a much cleaner way to do it. Otherwise, it just kind of shows up randomly in their vault and they won't do it. You have doing it in sessions holds people accountable. Okay.
Are the forms at some point in time available for rich text? So that you
The
can
long
highlight?
text is going to be rich text.
Okay.
They're really made to be fairly simple. If you get a lot of rich text and a lot of the long text on a form, sometimes they won't fill them out. The preview, we've kept the same look and feel as our assessment forms so that your sections are categorized up here.
Why you have a long time?
What?
Nothing. Sorry.
Oh,
Hey, Lisa, real quick. When you refer to the vault, is that similar to a portal? I would like a portal that I would be interacting with, like let's say like a audit client or something, where I ask for these 3 things, and then they would upload them to the portal that we could review and I could send back. And is that what we're talking about?
yeah, I'm going to show you the vault here in just a minute. We're going to kind
I'm
of
just trying to running my brain around how that would work and
yeah,
the
absolutely.
benefits of that throughout our
in just a minute. Okay.
sessions. Cool.
So programs, it's very rudimentary right now, but you can create a program. What it's going to do though, in the next couple of weeks, it's going to connect to the ability to print out a contract. So program name, your description, the compensation details, and payment terms. And then we are working on, once we've created it, you can activate it, deactivate it, edit it, but there's going to be a create contract. And then it would, you would associate it with a client. It would fill in your information, their information, signature lines, the terms, and it's a very simplified contract. I highly recommend that you only use this if you don't have anything else, or use it as a template and have your attorney, because every state's a little different. This is one that is valid in all states, but it is very broad. Okay. So it will get you paid though. Like, it is a valid contract to get you paid. But you know, and it's got non-disclosures in it and who owns what in proprietary information and mutual indemnity. So it's got all of the main clauses in there, but, depending upon the requirements of your insurance, if you have it, which I recommend you have it, and your state, you may want to tweak that a little bit. Okay. And we're also going to have the second part of this is it's going to actually send the information to your CRM. And now that it has a full contract template database that you can put large contracts in, secure document signing, and all of that. So once it connects up with that, it will but this is just a simplified version of it. Communications, two-way communications now with your client. Reminders, you can compose a message, a notification, a reminder, an announcement. They all go to their email. You send them to, which client you want, and what the subject is, what the priority is, and this is a rich text editor. You send a communication. The difference between sending it here and sending it in your CRM is that this one will also show up in their client portal here, so that everything stays, you can send reminders about doing the task. We've got an upcoming session. All of that is here. Vault, Travis, we got the vault. Okay, global vault, you won't have, but you will have manage vault. Okay. Global vault is where I'm creating global resources. Actually, you will have it, but you can only view and assign. You can't create anything in the global vault. But you can share things from the global vault to your client. Only admins can create it. Okay. And we've got shared resources. I've made a best practices and a tools and templates. Okay. These are the global vaults. Right now, there's just placeholders in there, you guys. It's just, we haven't added the full context yet. Manage Vault, this is your resources. Okay. You'll see a folder in there called Global Financial Resources that you can assign to clients or you can view. And then you can create folders and you can add a resource. So let's say you want to add a resource to this folder. Resource name, description, whether it's a file upload, whether it's external link, or whether it's a YouTube or a Vimeo video. Right now, this just links to the YouTube and Vimeo video. We are creating, but it's going to take a while. It will actually pop up and embed the video so they can watch it right within their portal. Otherwise, it's going to send them to those video links. So you could have an external link if you've got a file you want to share with them in your Google Drive, or you want them to review something you found on the web. If you have a specific file for your client that you want them and only them to have, a particular manual, you can upload the file. And then everything will come into so you might want to make a folder that says, a folder for each client. And then have their stuff in there. And then what you would want to do is you would want to share this, because you can now assign your general stuff that you could use for everybody, and then maybe client specific stuff. You can create a folder for each client and then assign it to them as needed. And then you can assign it to them and it's going to land in their vault in general. But you can also now, once it lands in their vault, associate it with a session. So yes, Travis, does that answer your question? Two-way. Why is it two-way? Because your client also has their own vault that they may want to find and share something with you so that it lands in your vault. Can they email it? Yes, they can. Not an ideal place to go. Emails get lost in the shuffle. Encourage your clients to upload in the vault, because now you've got everything in one place and you can review things and you can assign it to them and attach it to them. And it'll come in, by the way, when it comes in, it'll come into theirs. Journal. Everyone has a journal for private note taking. These are notes that you can either attach to clients or I think I've got it attached to client. No, not yet. We're also going to assign these to clients. But these notes are just private notes to yourself about coaching, about clients, about something else you want to do. Your clients also have this that are private notes to themselves. Now so that part was your vault management. Notice those were under management. The vault that it's going to look like for you and for clients, the actual vault. Of course, you've got your strategic resources, the links that you've added to all your strategies. I've kept those separate because maybe you want to refer to them, maybe you don't, but we need to keep them not so busy from the vault. And this is your vault. This is just for you. If you want to share it with somebody, so your clients have this, when you log in as the client, you will see that you can share it only with your advisor, nobody else. These you can't share because you are the top level. You can only do it through Managed Vault. This is your private vault. This you won't see right now. This is a teaser of things to come. Now let's log in and see what your client sees. Of course, they have the launch pad. They've got their advanced calculator. They've got the areas they've filled out, and only those show up in the journey map. They have their journey map. They have the progress tracker. Now remember, we added some things so you can see those level 2 strategies have been added to the task, but they don't see all the advanced stuff in here. They can now see their advanced insights, but only those that you chose, the advanced insight assessments, only those you chose to unhide and view for them. And add links. So this is essentially the same, except that we've default hid, that was a very good suggestion so that you're not going through there. And the implementation strategies, I'm going to make this this needs to be hidden altogether. None of that shows until you add it as a task. I mean, you can unhide it, but it would be pretty overwhelming if you unhid the whole thing for them. They think they have to do the whole 4 levels, 100 tasks. So, of course, all their tasks are still there. Contacts, calendars. Once you've, this client has not gone into their journey tracker and added it to their calendar, but they could. You could walk them through that. Now, in their My Executive, they're seeing your profile. And then was it Paul? I think, what do the clients see? This is what the client sees. And yes, this needs to be sorted. Okay. So these are their sessions. They have a little bit different view than yours. You want them to focus on their strategy. What strategy are they going to view? They have their agenda. We're going to make ours a little more in an accordion. Here's the agenda. They have their forms. One is marked completed. One is marked that they need to fill it out because we just added that one. The session vault, everything that we associated with them now is right here, and they can download it right here. They may have downloaded it before, but how many times have you been with a client and 5 minutes are wasted while they look for what you sent them, right? Now all they have to do is open the session, and everything is right there. They don't have to look through their email. You don't have to look through your email. They don't even have to go to their vault. It's right there because you've now associated it with the session. Assignments and communication. Now remember, you can keep this as an ongoing thing throughout the week, and I highly recommend it. Use that edit sessions in your profile to keep things going here until that session is done. And then you can even add some notes to that communication. And then this is the client's private notes. And I think what I realized happened is that somehow the client private notes that's why we got that 500 error. And it got swapped so I need to put your private notes in there. And this is for them to take their own notes. You can't see these once they put them in there, okay? Or you're not supposed to. Probably should test that. So, in fact, I'm going to do that to make sure. Sometimes things get lost in translation with code. Okay, it will give me a reminder. Programs, it's only going to show here when you've assigned a program to somebody, so they can review what their terms are and things like that. Communications, you can send to anybody on your client or prospect list. Anybody who has ever downloaded your app, you can communicate with them. They only got one choice, and oh, they were supposed to fix that. Okay. But the select an advisor, it's just you. So I need to fix that so that actually your name shows here. Subject, message, and they send the communication so that it goes straight to you. There's not this is actually live, guys. It's live on a server. The messages will come from ToolsPro 360. Let them know that, but from you at and so because it's within the software system, let them know that you will have messages within their software, but they should be, or Profit Tools Pro, depending on how you have them logged in. Just always let them know that. But this keeps it within the system, but this particular user has a test.com email, so it won't work. Private note journal. They have their own private note journal. Of course, their strategy resources are here, but then Travis, these see shared, but they've got two tabs. They can use their own resources, and they can send this to their advisor. There's an error there. This worked in dev, but it doesn't work in production. Okay, and these are the ones that you shared, that their advisor shared with them, so that they're separated by tabs. So yes, they see them all here in one place, so they keep a long record of it. And guess what happens to these resources if they stop paying you? They don't have access to them. Yeah. I mean, if they could download them all real quick, I guess, but they, there's a lot, they stand to lose a lot when you don't email them things and you keep things in the portal. Keep the record in the portal, keep their items in the portal. You want them to be sticky like a utility. They would sooner turn off their cable than to turn you off. And of course, we still have the free and the self-guided coaching app that has just enough friction that hopefully they'll want to keep you guys in there. Okay.